the result of his career. Let's go back to Magnus Carlsen. Yeah, let's go back. Magnus Carlsen squeezing away. Look at this. Look at this. Dream world for Magnus. Extra pawn. Knights all working. His opponent has 38 seconds. This is dream world for Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, everything is beautifully protected.
Yeah.
The knight on e6 is the soul, yeah? It protects the knight on c5 and protects back on g7 as well, because that's White's only hope. Besides, also, it covers the entry square on c7, so Magnus might be able to jump in with his knight and trap the bishop on b2, because this bishop on b2, thanks to this lovely pawn formation construction, f6, e5 pawns, is completely out of the game.
There's one thing you just don't want to do after knight d3. Now if rook c8 check, you don't want to put the king on h7, big point, because then knight g6 and you get in a mating net.
Yes.
Important to point out.
Exactly, yeah. So bishop c3 played, but there is just no way White can get away with this. He's trying to get king e2 in. But okay, now Magnus will just probably advance b4, knight e6 to c5, reinforcing the knight on d3. And then also rook b1 check b3. This looks completely hopeless.
Yeah.
Magnus goes b4.
Bishop d2 will be played, I think. And now...
Well, knight e6 to c5,
Cementovic.
Yeah, now simply the rook is blocked. Rook b1 check, b3 is a deadly threat.
And if king e2?
Well, maybe even then we go rook b1 and b3. There is not much White can do.
Right? You just march the pawn to the end. King e2. Magnus will play... Maybe, you got to be careful. Rook a3, bishop takes b4.
Yes, that's the only thing that you cannot fall for. Rook a3, bishop b4 would be suddenly a rescue, but rook b1 will be played. Followed by b3.
Well, Finnick did have his chances today, perhaps, but some magic middle game play. Finnick knows, of course, that it is close to over.
No, he knows it's over.
He knows
Actually, he knows it's over. Exactly.
Yeah, he knows it's over. It is over and out. Now, I'm very curious. We'll stay here just to see the very end of this, and then we're going to go to the Bibisara game and the Teodora Indac game, and that is it. Magnus does win. Okay, well-earned victory there for Magnus. Let's go straight to Bibisara against Fabiano. And yikes.
That's the current position. Very similar structure like in the Magnus game, but now the bishop is on f6 after having committed e5, so clearly Black is also looking at the possibility when to push this e5, e4, but this knight on e4 and Black's heavy piece